I learned about it just a couple months ago. Maybe, the fact
That she's black,
yeah.
or that she's Indian.
The fact that she's black, I thought she was Indian until a couple months ago. Things change.
A lot of people. Well,
because if you follow baseball, Sammy
right.
Sosa kind of, you
Right.
sometimes have to respect people. They
Sammy.
change, right? So
Sammy.
I thought maybe she was doing a Sammy Sosa the other way.
Yeah,
around.
Sammy.
Talking about somebody else turned black when he out here looking like colonial maple. Welcome to Racist of the Week. My name is Reese Waters. This is where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of discrimination in hopes we can build a more perfect union. And also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page. And definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments or email me at reese@reesewaters.com. And shout out to all of our new members here on the channel. Today's nominee, Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump's racism is well documented.
Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got $1.7 billion off the price? I think they want the white guy.
You know what look at my African American over here. Look at him.
Here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money.
Oh, you know what? My bad. That last one was new. That was not an old clip. What exactly was the problem? You said we're not gonna let them teach history how it actually happened. Now, you guys, one of the things I say all the time is my favorite kind of racism is where you can go multiple choice on what exactly was the most offensive thing. In the case of Donald Trump, last time I was here, I believe 4 different times I went on a run of various offensive things he's done and said to disparage black people without a single moment being mentioned multiple times. And guess what? I didn't hit any of those. So this would be number 5. Only MAGA in 2024 can I go on 5 runs of racism with all new material for the man you've presented as our presidential nominee. Now, Donald Trump decided to go on the Patrick Bet David podcast, which I frankly was surprised at because they seem intent to try and hide him from now until the election. They've been canceling events left and right. And when he does show up to events, he has to be protected in such a way that he has to travel with his own contingent in order to pack the crowd.
The audience was stacked with Trump supporters. Now, Fox presented this town hall as just an all-women's town hall, general voters. Never in their press release did they say who was going to be sitting in the audience. But in reality, the room was not only full of Trump supporters, people who are voting for Trump, but also people who are officially part of Republicans' women's organization. In fact, the first person who asked a question, she presented herself as Lisa from Milton, Georgia. She's actually Lisa, president of the Fulton County Republican Women's Group. So she is essentially almost a Republican official. There was also, we saw people come up, wearing Trump pins. There was somebody who had an RNC delegate hat. But I think the most egregious thing that happened in this town hall was that in one of the questions by a woman named Alicia, in the middle of her question, she said the following: "I voted for you this morning. I hope they counted it," something along those lines. But Fox edited out those handful of words in her question. So in the broadcast, when all you saw was her asking a question. She did make a joke about how the opposition probably sees the room being full of domestic terrorists. But those handful of words in the middle of the question that took maybe all of, 5 seconds to say, those were selectively edited out. Why did Fox News do that? We asked them. They have not said anything back. Fox also edited out moments where the entire crowd broke out into chants of Trump, Trump, Trump.
But one thing that even your own supporters can't protect you from are your posts on social media, because we still get the wild stuff on Truth Social. And by the way, Trump, just don't say nice way or the hard way. Not Not with the 30. Just don't. Yeah, we need to get that taken down. And you know what? Somebody is eventually going to have to get his phone because he going to mess around and hit up Stormy Daniels.
Well, now we have just learned, we have reported out 20 days, here it is 20 days before this election, we can report that he is once again trying to pay Stormy Daniels to be quiet ahead of this next election.
What we're going to say in the future, that's no way. No, I can't let you do that. So he's like, okay, I got to get back with him, So they want to cut some kind of deal where they silence you.
Don't they know that won't work?
It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen.
Just so you understand the level of which MAGA is carrying Donald Trump, they're out here giving him credit for the market while Biden is president.
Look at this market. The Dow scoring the 38th record close yesterday, now sitting at 43,077. What's your take in terms of allocating money right now? Well, what do you want to do before the election?
If you believe Trump will win, then you stay with financials and you stay with small caps. If Trump does not win, think about higher taxes and think about an even slower economy, because a lot of this stuff is not stimulative. It's going to slow things down even more regulations, less stimulus. So, it's really, you've got to make a decision on who you expect to win. And I think that lead in, yesterday's performance was really about some swing in the polls.
Yeah. Do you think investors are focused on this election and making bets around it?
Massively focused on the election.
And you think they think Trump will win?
I think right now that is the bet, yeah.
And that's why we're talking about record highs.
Exactly. Yeah. Because less regulation, more stimulus. Look, you can argue about tariffs a zillion different ways, but people expect that that's going to help America be more competitive.
Mark, you agree with that?
Without a doubt, yeah. And when you look at just the performance of Trump favored sectors. You look at energy, less regulation has done very well. You look at financials, have done very well, less regulation. Consumer discretionary, strong consumer, has done well. Crypto has done well. And Stanley Druckenmiller, I believe it was yesterday, said that the market right now is pricing in a Trump victory based on the performance of bank stocks and crypto.
Yes, and that Great Depression style crash that Donald Trump said was coming. That's no longer... That's not coming? Okay. All right. Cool. I'd love to see what they said that day. Now, there are many possible videos that I could have played for you right now just to properly showcase the degree of cognitive dissonance, the degree that they're willing to lie to you. But none are better than Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin when he decided he was going to tell Jake Tapper that Donald Trump's words were not Donald Trump's words.
You heard some of the language that Mr. Trump used over the weekend. What do you think of this idea of, quote, we have some sick people, radical left lunatics, and I think it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, the National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military. Is that something that you support?
Jake, first of all, thank you for having me. And I guess what I want to just make very clear is that it's my belief that what former President Trump is talking about are the people that are coming over the border, that in fact are committing crimes, that are bringing drugs, that are trafficking humans, and that are turning every state into a border state. And I'm a governor of a state that is not near the southern border, and yet I see the impacts of 10 million people illegally coming across the border every single day. 5 Virginians die on average from fentanyl overdose. We have folks that have crashed, the illegal immigrants that have crashed the front gate at Quantico in a box truck.
But that's not what I'm talking about, because he was talking about sick people, radical left lunatics who should be handled by the National Guard or the military. And then later on in that same speech, he said that one of the lunatics he addressed was Congressman Adam Schiff. That's who he was talking about using the National Guard and military against, radical left lunatics, enemy from within, people like Adam Schiff.
Again, Jake, I don't think that and again, I can't.
I'm just reading his
speak
quotes
for him, but I do think that you are misinterpreting and misrepresenting his thoughts. But
I'm literally reading his quotes. I'm literally reading his quotes to you, and I played them earlier so you could hear that they were not made up by me. He's literally talking about, quote, radical left lunatics. And then one of those lunatics he mentioned was Congressman Adam Schiff.
I wonder what Glenn Youngkin's internal monologue was like. Like, he didn't say that, did he? Did he say that? I can't believe he said that. No, he didn't say that. I think he might have said that. No, he didn't say that. Well, I can't say he said it. Did he say that? He said that? Oh. And if you're wondering, VP Kamala Harris can handle hecklers just fine.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
So Donald Trump loose on a podcast after Kamala Harris just laid fire to Fox News? This should be good.
Really like me. And I think black women do too. But they have a woman who is black, although you would say she's Indian, but she is black. But she really, a lot of people didn't know, which is true. But
I learned about it just a couple months ago. You know, the fact
that she's black, or that she's Indian.
The fact that she's black, I thought she was Indian until a couple months ago. Things change. I mean,
a lot of people. Well,
because if you follow baseball, Sammy Sosa kind of, you sometimes have to respect people. They change, right? So I thought maybe she was doing a Sammy Sosa the other way.
Yeah, Sammy's changed.
Right.
People change.
If you remember Sammy Sosa,
he could hit the ball.
He could hit the ball, 66 home runs.
Seriously.
Yes. Ah, yes, all those Indian Harrises that we see floating around America. And for you non-sports fans, by the way, this is Sammy Sosa. So he's saying that black men and black women really like him, but they have a black woman. And by virtue of the reason why he's turning the conversation here in his mind is, well, they're going to vote for the black woman, which, by the way, takes you into Donald Trump's head. This is something that I've explained before. The reason of his obsession with her ethnicity is because he can't imagine black people doing anything other than voting for Kamala Harris because she's black, which totally obscures the fact that they voted for Joe Biden and they voted for Bill Clinton and they voted for Jimmy Carter. I mean, there's ample evidence to dispute this, but so much information can fit in his brain. So obviously that got knocked out. Obviously, this is also his second, third, fourth at bat with this Kamala birtherism whole thing, which speaks to the fact that so much information can fit in his brain. I think he kind of forgot that he didn't run this play before, and so he just decided he's going to run it up the flagpole one more time. He's like, Have I tried birtherism? Because no, I don't think I've tried birtherism yet. That's crazy. How did I get to here and I didn't try birtherism? That's normally like the first thing I try. Yeah, Trump, it was the first thing you tried. And the third and the fifth and the last. I also want to send a shout out to Patrick Bet-David because it takes somebody on Trump's level of ignorance in order to bring his ignorance out. You know what I mean? Like that would have been just a moment and he would have went on to something else, but you talking about Sammy Sosa and this, that, and the other thing, which allowed Trump to expound a little bit more. So I appreciated that. If you would have been like slightly more sophisticated, like approaching a normal, like average level of sophistication, we wouldn't have gotten that video. So I appreciate him for that. I also would like to re-raise one of the things that I mentioned when we first started having this conversation. Is something that I feel like should be center to whenever we have these kinds of conversations, is the level of entitlement that it takes for you to make an issue of how somebody else identifies racially. Like I can mention Howard, I could mention Divine Nine, I could mention her relationships with the Congressional Black Caucus, all that. I don't need to. It is the entitlement for you to challenge how somebody else identifies. Because for you to say, I didn't even know that, I just learned that, is totally fine. Everybody isn't a Kamala Harris aficionado, Patrick Bet-David. But then when you start talking about Sammy Sosa, now you are making an issue of how she's identifying because of how you see things, when by your own admission, you were dealing with limited information. Just go with the fact that you had limited information and go about your business before you keep talking and you say something ignorant. You chose not to. But I don't want to get down on you too much because you continued to give us more Donald Trump racism. So shout out to you for that. And how Donald Trump gonna be out here talking about somebody else turned black when he out here looking like Colonial Maple? You know, people were talking about Colonial Maple. I thought maybe he might have been doing a Sedona Red or a Chestnut. But at the end of the day, I thought Colonial Maple. He went in and asked for Colonial Maple on his face, and he wanted to talk about somebody else turned black. Wild.
I kind of want to get your reaction on this talk that is given. Rob, if you can put that up.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
So how do you feel about this when you see him saying this last week?
I think he's angry. He pretends not to be, but I think he's an angry guy. He's a nasty guy. He's got a little bit of an edge, and he's angry about a lot of things.
Oh, okay. Obama is an angry guy and a nasty guy. Let's go through some of the clips and content that we've seen from Obama after he left the Oval Office. Now let's look at how Trump has spent his time since leaving the office. I swear, everything out of their mouth is projection. It is. They don't know how to do anything but project. I guess Trump can't imagine anybody actually leaving and not being an angry. He's like, well, I left and I was angry. Of course, I was angry when I was in the Oval Office. I was angry before I was in there. I'm angry all the time. So, of course, everybody else is.
I think he's angry. He pretends not to be, but I think he's an angry guy. He's a nasty guy. He's got a little bit of an edge, and he's angry about a lot of things. You look at what happened with Biden, and you look at what he did with Biden. He really hurt Biden because I'm not sure he wouldn't have imploded anyway. We had the debate, and he was down quite a bit, and they walked out, and they just took it away from him. I mean, if you think about it, they stole the election from a sitting president. That's, I always say coup, but the word coup, I don't think it's accurate enough. They just walked in and took it away from him. That is a legendary thing. He didn't want to give up. He's angry now. They're all angry, the Democrats, if you think. She's angry. They're both angry.
Okay, so as I just said, there's nothing that ever comes out of their mouth that isn't projection. So he's talking about Obama being angry and then talking about Joe Biden. Sounds like somebody still hasn't gotten over that they're not running against Joe Biden. Tell me you angry without telling me you angry. I mean, of the last 1,000 times that somebody has mentioned Kamala Harris taking over the nomination from Joe Biden, the last 1,000 times that's been mentioned in public, 998 of them have been from Donald Trump. Ain't nobody talking about that, but 998 of them have been from Donald Trump. The other two, I'm guessing, is probably from Kamala Harris's kids, mad that they can't act up right now. Because I would be.
No, I watched that last week, and I think he spoke down to black men. I thought it was terrible the way he spoke to them.
He spoke down to black men. Ooh. So can only black men speak down to black men? Is that what I'm gathering? Like, are white men capable of speaking down to black men? Because the only way that I can process that you think somebody else spoke down to black men is that white men are not, it's not possible for them to speak down to black men. That's just how black men deserve to be addressed, apparently.
But
you think it's effective? You think he still carries the same stick as he did, maybe 8 years ago or 12 years ago?
No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think he does. I think people have gotten smart.
You know what I really wanted to, the conversation I really wanted to have is Donald Trump and Patrick Bet-David discussing how black people receive Obama. That is the conversation that's what I really wanted to know. I wanted those two guys specifically to be able to tell me how I should receive Obama. Because he's talking down to black men.
And no, I don't believe he does at all. I hadn't seen him. He's changed a lot. Visually, he's changed. I like to say visually as opposed to from the look standpoint, because, of course, looks don't matter anymore in politics, You say looks don't matter. It doesn't make any difference, because we want to be politically correct, but they do matter. But he's changed. His look has changed actually quite a bit. I haven't seen him in a long time.
Okay, so now that we have established that you are not capable of talking down to black men, any more bullets in the gun?
That's a big thing. They've been trying to get it. I saw a guy named Van Jones. He's I don't think anybody knows who he is. He's a commentator for CNN.
Oh, Van Jones. Oh, bro.
I don't think anybody knows who he is. He's a commentator for CNN. And he came to see me in the White House, and he was crying.
I remember that.
He was crying because I bring these things up because it's a lack of, I don't know, there's something about loyalty. You help somebody with something. He came in with a fairly large group of people, mostly black people, and he was devastated because criminal justice reform wasn't going to happen. Obama didn't do it, and didn't even come close. Bush didn't try. Nobody was going to do it. And I'm the only one that could have done it.
Okay, let's be accurate about this. Trademark Abby Phillip. Let's be accurate about this. Criminal justice reform is something that Trump likes to beat his chest about, and certainly all of the black MAGAs and certainly the black conservatives love to beat their chest about. The reality is that criminal justice reform had been coming for a long time. It's something that Congress was actually working on, and it was something they were unwilling to pass during Obama's administration. Oh yeah, you remember all of that log jam when they refused to go along with any of his agenda, when they had a temper tantrum over having to deal with the first black president? 'Cause I do. Yeah. So let's stop with the Trump came in by himself and wanted to make, no, we're not doing that.
Obama didn't do it, and didn't even come close. Bush didn't try. Nobody was going to do it. And I'm the only one that could have done it. And he was with a group of people they were begging to do it. They were 5 votes short.
He said y'all were begging. He said y'all were begging. He said Van Jones came in crying with a group of mostly black people, and they came in begging. It sounds like the scene out of Huck Finn that he describing right. To me, it sounds like a scene out of, Mark Twain could have wrote that. It sounds like a scene out of Huck Finn. Like, were they barefoot too? It kind of reminds me of the way that he characterizes HBCUs trying to get the funding back that was taken out and zeroed out of the budget. It kind of reminds me of HBCUs going to try and get their funding back. The way that he characterizes the way that they came to him, it's It's begging. I think he used the word begging there as well. But yeah, Obama be talking down to black people though. I remember Van Jones came in barefoot with a couple of pies and he cried into the pies and it was a magical tear. And I said, well, aren't you a special need?
And they had to be conservative votes because there was nobody else left, right? And I guess you needed the 61 or 60 something, maybe 66, but 61 is a hard vote. And he made a plea to me, Van Jones, total sleazebag. He made a plea to me to help him and help this group of people.
Wait. What'd you call him, Trump? What'd you call him? And
he made a plea to me, Van Jones, total sleazebag.
You could have made your point. You didn't. Hey, Van. I hope you're proud of your work. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. I hope you're proud of your work. Well done there. I haven't heard sleazebag since my childhood. Yeah, that might be the one good thing from this interview. We need to bring sleazebag back. All right, now that we have officially made your stance on race clear, Donald Trump, you got anything else you want to say that would put off anybody remotely on the fence?
I think Zelensky's one of the greatest salesmen I've ever seen. Every time he comes in, we give him $100 billion. Who else got that kind of money in history? There's never been. And that doesn't mean I don't want to help him because I feel very badly for those people. But he should never have let that war start. That war's a loser. Ukraine, remember, is not Ukraine anymore. Every city almost is knocked down to the ground. All those beautiful golden domes are laying on their side, smashed to smithereens. There's no city. You go into the city and every building is demolished. It looks like a demolition crew went through. They've been hit by missiles. This should have been settled before it started. It would have been so easy. If we had a president with half a brain, it would have been easy to settle. And I'm not, everyone would say, oh, this is terrible. He's blaming Biden. Well, I do largely blame Biden. If you watch his words were the exact opposite of what he should have been saying. He instigated that war.
Very solid, very solid. Let's go ahead and fluff Putin on the way out, just in case you weren't entirely sure on where he stood. Now, in the aftermath of that, I need to holler at all of my black conservatives and my black MAGAs. This your mans? Huh? This your mans? And I've called a number of you guys out by name. Why don't we bring somebody else into the crew? I feel like dragging somebody new. Hey, Charles Payne. Hey, come on down.
It's insulting. It is so insulting. If a white politician did this, I think we'd all be up in arms. This is so insulting to black men, black people, and how far we've come as a nation overall. This has been an embarrassment. Just a total embarrassment.
Offensive is exactly right. That is everything that I just saw. Oh, he was talking about Kamala? He was talking about Kamala? How? Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and also a special thank you to all of our subscribers and members here on the channel. I'm just about to roll out the first batch of badges and emoji, and I'm taking your suggestions on what you think would look nice in the chat or look nice next to your name when you leave a comment. Email me at reese@reesewaters.com and let me know what your suggestion would be. We are on the precipice of 200K. What do we do? We throw a party? We do a special live? You know what? I'm gonna surprise you.